I was able to go from plat to diamond to masters and GM after being hard stuck for seasons in a row, simply because I changed my habits and my mindsets. In this video, I'm going to teach you the things that you might currently be doing that you need to stop, and I'm going to teach you what you should be doing instead. All right, number one, we have to stop blaming teammates. Plain and simple, you can't be pointing fingers at people in a competitive game. It just isn't how it works. The reason why I'm saying this is because the more you blame your team, the less you're going to blame yourself. And the less you blame yourself, well, then the less you are actually going to be able to improve. Because if you don't blame yourself, then where's our improvement going to be? If we don't see where we've gone wrong, then we're never going to actually improve. Now, I've never personally really struggled with like blaming teammates, because I kind of grew up playing Rainbow Six Siege. And if you don't know what Rainbow Six Siege is, it's a 5v5 tactical shooter. But I'm not going to explain it too deeply, right? If you've played Siege, you know what I'm talking about. Siege is a very like you dependent game, right? Like it's not really dependent on other people. Like obviously it is, because like you have to have roamers and people holding sight and people doing stuff. But most of the pressure to perform is actually just on you. So the better you do, the more impact you have on the game. Overwatch is similar, but it's a little more team-based, obviously. But in Siege, I learned how to be not as negative to my teammates. And also, another thing that happens when you blame your teammates is that you get, maybe you'll say a couple of things in voice chat, which leads to them getting angry. And what do people do when they're angry? Well, they lash out and then they throw. So now, because you've blamed your teammates, even though you probably shouldn't have, they're now getting angry, which means they're more likely to throw. And then when they throw, you lose. So isn't the best solution to all of this is just focus on yourself, right? You just focus on you. You make mistakes, and then because you're a smart guy, you're not going to blame your teammates for making the mistake. You're going to blame yourself. And then guess what? Because you have control over yourself, you can change and improve. You can change what you did. You can improve what you did. And then guess what? You get better. And then you win. The main reason why blaming teammates is so just unhelpful to you and your team is that not only does it make your teammates upset, because no one likes to get criticized by some rando, right? But it stops you from improving, because you pull your focus away from yourself. Now, this leads on to the second point of not being self-accountable, right? So these two are very similar, like not blaming teammates and being self-accountable. But I just wanted to add this in because it's really important to just never focus on anything external. If there's something you can't control, right? If you can't control it, then there's nothing you can do, right? If you can't control something, ignore it. You can't control the weather, right? When it rains, you can't control when it rains. I mean, I'm sure some people can, but I'm not gonna get into that, okay? So when it rains, there's nothing you can do about that, because there's no control. You don't control the weather. But it's your choice on whether or not you are, sad about the fact that it's raining. Oh man, I'm gonna get fucking wet, and then you're just negative, and then the rest of the day is just made made worse because it's raining. Or you can be, oh, it's raining, maybe I'll stay inside today and I'll do something else. I did want to go outside to do this thing, and I still can. It's not stopping me. But because I don't really like getting wet, I'm actually just going to stay inside and do something else, right? There's a big difference between getting mad at the world and seeing the world for what it is and going, oh, okay, so this is that. I'm going to react in this way. Self-accountability is just your reactions. And think about it. When your teammates are bad, right? and not throwing, but like they're just kind of playing bad. Do you get kind of happy because it's like, okay, my teammates are playing bad, which means, you know, we're probably not going to win anyway. So I can just focus on myself. I can focus on like trying out this like new flank or this new way of using this cooldown I found out, right? You can be happy that your teammates suck and just kind of deal with it and just go next. Or I think how most people do it, they get upset, they start flaming, and then they start getting tilted, and then like the whole game's gone. So now not only are they not gonna win, they're also not even gonna learn anything from this game. So you just have to try your best to just see the situation you're in, take the positives from it, deal with the negatives in a mature way, accept that they're happening, accept that if you can't control it, there's nothing you can do, and just go next. And obviously being self-accountable means just like not blaming your teammates, be focused on your own gameplay, be focused on what you can do and how you react to different situations in game, and you will make it far. And then obviously not being self-accountable, instead be self-accountable. It's gonna be one of the fastest things that help you rank up. Why? Because if you're self-accountable, you see, let me just do this. SA, sure, whatever. You be self-accountable, you see your mistakes, and because you're actually willing to address them, you improve. And because you have improved, you rank up, and then it's a constant loop. You see the mistakes you make, improve on them, you get better, you rank up, and then, you know, a new thing comes up, and then you get better at that. So this is just an example, right? So this was a Rialto game that I played earlier, and you can see we lost this game, right? And you know, my Genji's got 14 deaths, my Sigma's got 12 kills, 11 deaths. My my healers suck. They have 9 deaths, 10 deaths, and like so little kills. But instead of focusing on those guys, I can't control their keyboards. You know, their keyboard and mouses like aren't in front of me. So what should I do? I should look inwards at myself. Well, actually, Kai, sure, you have 18 kills, and that's nice. And sure, you've got 12k damage, but you've also got 11 deaths. And I know that in that game, I died to Widowmaker quite a lot. Why? Because I kept peeking her, and I wasn't being very like self-accountable of that like mistake. Like I didn't really think to myself, oh yeah, okay, I need to stop peeking the Widow. How can I take an angle where like I can't peek the Widow? Now that doesn't mean I was in this game flaming my teammates. I don't flame teammates. Like, that's just not me. I don't flame teammates. I don't care about what my teammates are doing. But if I was a different person, I could go, well, like, my Genji should be on the Widow, or my Ana should be, like, nanoing me, or my Alari should be helping me take lanes. And yes, maybe it would be more optimal for them to do that. But it doesn't matter, because I can't control them. I can't get them to do that. So what I would do, and like what I did do, is after the game, I looked at the scoreboard. I went, wow, I've kind of got 11 deaths. Sure, I've got a lot of damage and like a decent amount of kills, but I've also got a lot of deaths. Let me go into the replay. I didn't go into the replay, but like, you know, let me go into the replay. Let me see how I died so much. Maybe I could have had more uptime. And then in that replay, I would have seen, oh, yeah, okay, I died to the Widow a bunch. And guess what? No one on my team can help me about dying to the Widow. Like it's all me. So now I've successfully diverted the blame away from my teammates, away from external circumstances, and onto myself. And now, because it's on myself, I can actually improve from that. I can go, okay, I need to take different angles where the Widow can't see me. I need to path differently. I need to maybe try and surprise the Widow more and get more aggressive on her, right? Another thing here, this was a Kings Row game. I had Awkward on my team, which was fucking chills, right? And my DPS were really bad. These guys were really bad. They just played in open space all game. They didn't contest any high grounds because they were just playing Soulcast. And I would be right to blame them. I would be right to blame them. And like in his stream, even Awkward kind of went, yeah, look, my DPS was low-key like trash, right? But that doesn't even matter. Even if Awkward said that, it doesn't matter because I could have done more. I spent about less than half the game playing very passively because I was worried about my DPS dying to the ball. But instead, I should have realized, okay, my DPS are just lost causes. They're going to die either way. So I should start setting up and playing more aggressively so that I can contest the Ashe and the Freya, who is doing a lot of damage because the ball's getting a lot of setup. Why? Because my teammates are in open space. Now, I'm not blaming the loss on my teammates, but I'm accepting the fact that they are playing poorly and that, you know, there's obviously like spiraling consequences of that. So what I should have done, I should have realized earlier, I can play more aggressive to try and fight this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. And maybe we would have won that game. Having this mindset opens up so many possibilities of like how you can play better. And that's the only thing that matters. If you figure out how like how you could do better, you can act on that. You telling yourself, yeah, man, my Sojourn is fucking shit. She should have done this and this and this. Doesn't do anything because you can't control her keyboard, right? I really wanted to drill in this lesson of being self-accountable because it's probably the most important thing here. Next, we have doing the bare minimum, aka not willing to do the boring things. Now, what is the bare minimum? Well, the bare minimum in my mind is loading up Overwatch. You know, you're gonna load up the game, and you're gonna queue ranked, and that's it. That is the bare minimum to ranking up. Now, is that gonna take you to a decently high rank? It can, if you're just naturally a good player, it can. But eventually, the results of this are gonna plateau. Why? Because there's other people who are doing more than just queuing up the game. They're aim training, they're practicing mechanics, they're practicing their movement, they're practicing different fundamentals, right? Those people are going to naturally do more than you. But the problem is, doing those things are fucking boring. Doing VOD reviews are boring. It is. VOD reviews are boring. You know, like practicing a certain skill instead of really focusing on the game is boring, right? Because you're not really focused on the game itself and like having fun in the game. You're practicing. That's boring. But these things are what are actually going to help you to improve. Because if you do VOD reviews, you're going to be more easily able to find out, you know, what you could have done better or what you can do less of that is bad. Practicing these things, it's kind of boring because, you know, you're playing Overwatch, but you're not really playing to win Overwatch. That's boring. But it actually helps you improve. So instead of doing the bare minimum, you need to find ways to make your sessions more worthwhile. So obviously, like, we still need to play, right? Like that's, you know, number one. We still need to play, but we need to make that more valuable. We need to figure out, okay, who am I going to play, right? You know, who am I going to focus on? Then what am I going to focus on that character? Am I going to focus on my positioning, on my cooldown usage, on my target priority? Okay. Now that we've got something to work on, okay. How has my previous like actions doing this thing been bad? And what can I do to do better? And then practice that. And then maybe we can do like a VOD in the future to see if I've done that a bit better, right? And then play more. So whilst all all of this is fucking boring, okay, have to play one hero, have to figure out something to practice. How do I practice it? Okay, now I figured out what like the way I need to practice. Now I've actually got to do the practice, then VOD the practice. Like, this is all fucking boring, but it's doing that extra stuff, the boring stuff, that is going to help you improve at the game instead of just playing it. So let me give you some practical examples. So practical examples of boring things to do are VOD reviews. What are they? You just watch your games back and see what you could have done better, or what you did bad that you can do less of. And another example is maybe watching like other people play, like better players than you. So, you know, pro play, high rank streamers, and like watch them play the game and specifically look for what they're doing that you might not be, and what they don't do that you might be doing. So like it's not as fun as just watching a video to watch a video, but it's more valuable than just watching a video to watch a video. Let me think of something else. Like practicing, like actually going into the game and practicing, that's boring. But what do you think is going to be more effective? Playing for 12 hours? Oh, I can't write. Playing 12 hours straight mindlessly, or maybe playing 2 hours with practice. Maybe this one will be more fun because it's just fun to play games. But is it going to be as effective as this? No. This one might be boring, but it's going to be a lot more effective. Let me think of something else. You know, doing the stuff in real life that is going to optimize your brain and make you feel better, that stuff can be kind of boring. You know, like self-improvement is kind of boring, you know, when you first start it anyway. It gets fun when you actually get into it. This like this stuff is kind of boring, but it's going to help you actually improve as a player and a person. So like the lesson here is don't just do the bare minimum of like, oh yeah, I'm going to play Overwatch today. No. Go in there like with a plan, something that's like relatively difficult, practice at it, VOD review it, and like just keep doing that in a cycle, and you will get better and you will rank up, I promise. The next thing is queuing in a lost streak. What do I mean by queuing up in a lost streak? Well, there's a couple of things. So one, you'll tilt, obviously. Tilt is a very big factor like during a lost streak, because after you've lost like 2 or 3, even if you believe you could have done more, your brain is just gonna get mad because it doesn't like losing. So that's one thing. Another thing is, and I'll talk about this a bit more later, but wasting time, right? If you lose 10 games in a row, you've lost 10 games worth of elo. But in that same loss streak, let's say we lost 2 in a row and we're like, yeah, actually, I think I'm probably going to go on a loss streak. I'm not playing very well. If we stop playing after 2, we've prevented ourselves from losing all of that elo, which would have been time wasted in the future just gaining back that elo, just to get back to the point where we were before so that we can rank up more. So this is a big reason why you don't want to queue in a loss streak, because if you queue in a loss streak, not only are you getting more mad and you're losing more elo, but you're going to have to spend more time in the future playing extra pointless games just to get back to where you were before. I think there was a third point that I don't remember. No, okay, no, it was just these 2, right? So these are the main reasons why you don't want to queue in a loss streak. And let me show you like a visible example. So a couple of days ago, I was playing Overwatch 2, as one does. And then I suffered a bit of a loss streak. Now, it wasn't that bad for me because like I was genuinely enjoying like practicing and playing. But I think what I should have done is I should have seen these 2 games. You know, I lose these 2 games, have a break, come back, and then I come back to Ilios, and then okay, I lose again. Here, I should have been like, yeah, you know what? Clearly, Overwatch just isn't happening today. I'm gonna just go do something else, right? And that not only would have saved me from wasting time playing the extra games that, you know, like playing these 3 extra games, though I wouldn't have got into a game of Orchid if I didn't, but anyway. It would have prevented me from wasting the time initially from playing these games. It would have saved me tilting by playing these games, because obviously I'm on a increasingly longer loss streak. But also in the future, I would still have to play less games to regain all of that elo back, and I can spend more time actually ranking up. So like, do you see why you just don't, like, if you catch yourself losing 2 or 3 games in a row, just stop playing. And you're probably like, okay, what should I do if I like lose a bunch? Well, after you lose a bunch of games, take like a 30-minute to 60-minute break. Like literally as soon as you got on that loss streak, stop playing, go outside, do something, and then come back, do a VOD review on one of the games that felt really bad, that felt kind of that felt unwinnable. See, like, and just, you know, go into like a couple of fights, see what you could have done better in those fights. Write down, okay, this is what I'm gonna practice to stop that from happening, and then play for a bit. And if you're still on the loss streak, Just keep doing the same thing until you start winning like games again, and then you can just keep going. The biggest thing you don't want to do is waste time by needlessly playing more games when you can kind of just feel you're on a loss streak. Right, I keep forgetting I made all these. So yeah, instead of queuing up in a loss streak, we're gonna take a break. VOD review. And then play, practicing the things you had in the VOD. And if things are still going bad, take a longer break. But if things are going good, you just keep playing, and then eventually you'll kind of reverse that loss streak. But the key is, we're trying to waste as little time as possible. As little time as possible. Because like, we have limited time as human beings. Eventually we're gonna die, and you don't want to spend extra time trying to get elo back from a loss streak that was easily preventable. Next thing is having poor physical and mental health. Now, this doesn't mean having extremely bad physical and mental health. It just means, you know, maybe you could be doing a little bit more. So instead of having poor physical and mental health, let me give you some simple things. Well, you know, I say simple. It's not necessarily going to be easy to do all of these things, but these are just some ideas of what you could do to boost your health. So for physical health, I have work out at least 3 times a week. This literally could be anything. This could be calisthenics. This could be like weightlifting, or just like anything, right? Do a form of workout that kind of makes you build up a sweat and stuff, and maybe makes you sore if it's going to be like resistance training, weightlifting. Do that at least 3 times a week. I forgot to add a section here. I really recommend you try to do some form of cardio every day. It doesn't have to be for very long. Maybe like 30 minutes a day. Do some form of cardio. Walking, biking, anything, bro. Because cardio is good for your physical health, because it's going to help you burn a little bit more calories. It's going to help you stay a little leaner, which is going to help you feel better about yourself. But also it's good for cardiovascular health, because doing long-term cardio, like, you know, over the span of months and years, helps slow your heart rate down, which helps you become healthier. So like that's going to be helpful for your physical health. And if you are going to be doing weightlifting, make sure the sessions are anywhere from, you know, 30 to 50 minutes. They really don't need to be that long. So yeah, that's that. Next thing, make sure you get long enough sleep. Now, depending on your body, you might need more sleep than average, you might need less sleep than average, but let's just say, like, on average, 8 hours of sleep per night. Now, alright, sorry, my PC crashed. I don't know what that happened. I should probably send it to the vet or something. So, what was I talking about? Sleep. Yes. So, like on average, I can't write an 8. What is wrong with me? Like on average, it's 8 hours of sleep. Some people might need more. Some people might need less. It just depends on your body. Now, what is more important is getting consistent sleep. Consistent sleep is literally just going to sleep at the same time every day and waking up roughly at the same time every day. The way you can control this is by going to sleep, obviously, at the same time. You know, get into bed at the same time. And then, you know, maybe for a bit, like have an alarm, which kind of makes your body wake up at that time. And then just kind of let it wake up when it needs to. For me, I get into bed at 9 p.m. every day. And I wake up around 7 a.m. So that gives me 10 hours in bed. It gives me a lot of sleep. And it gives me a lot of energy. And another part for consistent sleep is getting morning sunlight. So if you're watching this and you're from the UK, you might be like, well, Kai, there's no fucking sunlight in the UK in the morning. Shut the fuck up! Shut up! There is sunlight. If you can go outside and you can see things around you, if you can see the street, if you can see through the window and there's people, if you can see your car from across the window, there is sunlight you can see. So, and like, just because it's not very bright doesn't mean there's not sunlight. So if you go outside, look at the sky for like 30 to 60 seconds, you'll kind of set your circadian rhythm, which is like your body's internal system of knowing when it's time to wake up a little bit and get more active, and it knows when to get more tired and go to sleep. So getting that morning sunlight is very important for setting whatever your sleep schedule is. So like for me, I like to wake up around 7, get sunlight as soon as possible. That way my body is kind of set, knowing like, oh, okay, we are awake now. It is daytime. Let's get active. And then just because I'm awake for like a long time, I get tired around 6, 7, 8:30 p.m. and then I get to bed at 9. So yeah, sleep is very important. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you sleep consistently, because if you don't sleep consistently, you'll fuck up your circadian rhythm and you'll get more irritable. Your brain will literally work slower because it doesn't have the sleep it needs. There's a bunch of bad symptoms. You can look up like sleep on like Andrew Huberman, and you'll probably find it. Next thing, avoid mega processed food. So just like avoid food slop. Basically, I'm not gonna go into too much detail. If you're buying something and it's got 50 ingredients, and like one of the ingredients is like fucking banana mega super like aspartame, like something you can't even read, you probably should avoid that. Now, I'm not saying you can't get some fast food or whatever. I think you should be strict with avoiding that stuff, but like, it's a personal choice. I say avoid it, but if you want it, go for it. Now, if you're looking to try and make your diet better, try to get towards whole foods and one ingredient foods. So banana. A banana is not made of ingredients. I mean, like, it is, right? And it's made of different like proteins and nutrients. But like, a banana is a banana. A potato is a potato. A tomato is a tomato, right? Like stuff like that. Whole foods that you could give to your great grandparents and they would go, oh yeah, that's a parsnip or whatever the fuck, right? If you could try and make your diet more like whole food based, you'll feel a lot better, and like mentally, because you'll have less brain fog because the food is actually good for you, and you'll actually be physically healthy because you're actually eating good food and you're not going to get spots on your face or bloated. Next thing, avoid sitting for more than 4 hours a day if possible. This is just like a human being thing. Human beings are really not meant to be sat down for that long. And like most people in their jobs sit down for a long time. So I'm not saying, get fired because you want to stand up. But if you can, do try to avoid sitting. Go for walks, go for runs, just get active. Humans are meant to be mobile creatures. We are that thing where it's like humans can run for longer than like any animal, which is why we've been so dominant. Because yes, a creature might be faster than us, but it's never going to be able to run for longer than us, which is why we've been able to be so like dominant like in the early days of humanity. Next thing, stretch. Pretty simple. I'm not going to explain more. And drink enough water. Again, pretty simple. I think for guys, and I think girls too, I don't know if there's like a super big difference, but I know for men, 4 liters of water a day is going to be what you need. Right? And if you want to argue against me, talk to a wall. Our bodies are made up of 70% water. It needs water to process and to live and function. So don't argue with me. I will kill you. Okay, now for the mental health. I'm going to kind of speed run through these because having good mental health is kind of like simple. If you do things that make you feel better, you will feel better. You will want to do things that are more challenging but more rewarding. So, number 1, be grateful for the things you have. You can do this through gratitude journaling, which is literally a practice where you just get like a piece of paper or a notebook or a notebook and you write down, I am grateful for my keyboard. Because without my keyboard, I wouldn't be able to play Overwatch, and I wouldn't be able to type things, and I wouldn't be able to watch things because it's I can't type in the words. So now I'm grateful for this thing that I have, and I thought about life, and I thought about how life would be if I didn't have this thing, and now suddenly I feel way better. So do that every morning for 3 to 5 things. It can be very simple. It could be I'm grateful for my chair because without my chair, I wouldn't have something to sit on, and it's very comfy. I am grateful for my windows Because if I didn't have my windows, I wouldn't be able to look out to the world every day. And I always see that same girl walking across the street, and that's just a good feeling. Same thing with meditation. I'm going to super speed on our meditation. So meditation is just the art or the practice of focusing on something, losing focus, like subconsciously, and then realizing you've lost focus, and then bringing your focus back to the thing you were focused on. So for me, the way I do meditation is I do deep breathing, and I focus on kind of the area where the air comes in and out of my nose, kind of like on my upper lip. So I breathe in, focus on the breath, breathe out, and that cycle I focus on. But because I'm a human being, my brain's gonna wander off, and I'm not gonna realize it. Eventually, I'm gonna realize my thoughts have wandered away from the thought, and I'm just gonna gently and non-judgmentally bring my focus back to the breath. What does this do for you? It makes you more mindful, which means you'll be more focused in the present moment, which is going to help you with real life everything. And in Overwatch, it's going to help you stay focused on the thing you're practicing. And because you're more mindful, you will be more happy. I don't know if you know this, but happiness is probably not what everyone thinks it is. Happiness is not like a thing you can achieve by doing something. You get a bit of happiness from doing things you want to do. But happiness is literally just how like quiet and how not negative your brain can be in the present moment. So if you can have a brain that's not constantly calling you a dickhead because you didn't do that one thing like 7 years ago, you are going to be more happy than a person whose brain is more active. That's just the truth. That's a very like limited way of explaining it, but it's really the best way I can explain it. So next, nourish meaningful connections with people you care about. It's like, you know, the words are a bit complex, but it's very simple. You have people in your life that you like. It is your job as someone who wants to become more mentally happy and healthy that you nourish these connections with people. How do you do that? Well, you know, create banter with them. Just like be a good person with them. They'll be a good person with you. And then you'll share stories, banter, and like you'll just connect as people. And being around them is just gonna make you happy. Because humans are social creatures, we need people to talk with, or we literally go insane. Did you know the symptoms of long-term loneliness can be worse than like being an alcoholic or being on drugs or like literally being brain damaged? Like being lonely long-term is literally worse for you than doing drugs and alcohol. So you know that's something. Next thing. Protect your peace. What do I mean by this? I mean, don't let people ruin your peace because you're trying to people please. If people are being dickheads to you and you like kind of like them, but they're being mean, we're gonna have to cut them off because your peace is more important than them feeling secure that you are gonna keep being friends with them because they have some sort of like emotional power over you. Very simple. If you get invited to somewhere like a party and you don't really like the party environment because people are kind of degenerates, the drinking kind of freaks you out, whatever, you don't have to go. Literally go. Oh, actually, I don't want to go. Or if you don't want to be friends with people who do things that you don't like, you either don't have to be friends with them, or you can stay friends with them and just reject their like invites to go do those things. Next. Be kind to other people. There's like a study somewhere. I don't remember where exactly it was. I was watching like a Will Tennyson video, and he brought up a study. Basically, being kind to other people just makes you happy. I don't really know how it works, but I'm kind to people, and it makes me pretty happy. So you know, do things for people. You know, doing content like this, helping people with problems is being kind. So you can make content. You can do things like in real life, you can help your friends and your family. Just like do kind things for people, and not only is that gonna make you feel good, but you know there's a nice bonus that you get bonuses. Like maybe you know depending on what it is, with like content you can make money, you can get fame and like power and status and stuff. But if you know with like friends and family, it's like they become more connected to you and they treat you well. And it sounds a bit narcissistic or like whatever, but it's like, do you not want people to treat you better? Do you not want to get rewards for things you do? I want to get rewards for things I do. So I do kind things intrinsically because I like being kind. It makes me feel good. And extrinsically, I get rewards like more status. People like me more. I get money. Like that. Like that's it. And the last thing for your mental health is set challenges outside of Overwatch. Now, what do I mean by set challenges? I actually don't remember. There's a thing where I think it's difficulty and flow chart. I don't remember. Yeah, okay. So you have to set yourself challenges. Where is it? So what do I mean by challenge? Well, a challenge just has to be something that is a little bit difficult, but also something that you can kind of accomplish. So, for example, a challenge could be, oh, I want to build like a decent physique by the end of the year. And let's say you have like six months to do that. So it's not too hard, right? Because you've got about 6 months, so it's not that difficult. But you can also accomplish it with your skills. Now this chart just says if something is too difficult for you, right? If the challenge is too high and your skills are like not like high enough, you're just gonna feel anxiety and you're not gonna want to do that, which is not good. But if the challenge is like too low and your skill is too high, well then it's just boring because you can just do it easily. So like you want to find something that is challenging enough to be difficult, but not too hard to where it's like, oh, I can't do this, I'm freaking out. But you also want to, you know, your skill level has to be not so bad to where you can't do it, but also not too high to where you could do it very easily. This is where the flow state kind of comes in. If you can find something in this flow channel, you get into the flow. And the flow is like another aspect of like how to be really happy as a person. Because if you're in the flow, like right now, I'm in the flow because making this video is kind of challenging, but it's not too challenging. And my skills kind of match the challenge of what I'm doing. So I'm in a flow state. I have no thoughts in my head as I speak right now, which means I'm a very happy person in this moment. So if you can find things that do that for you, your mental health will skyrocket, I promise. Now, the next thing is wasting time and the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle. Very quickly, the Pareto principle is, I don't remember it exactly, but it's 20% of the things you do actually result in 80% of the results. And then I think the other way around as well. So 80% of the things you do in a certain thing, let's say weightlifting, right? Like 80% of the things we might do are only going to get us 20% of the results, which means we can do a lot of bullshit, but it's not going to get us a lot. Oh, you know, actually, let's think of this as a YouTuber, right? So we can do a lot of things like, you know, heart comments, read comments, you know, heart comments, read, like them, reply, like we can do these things, and this takes a decent amount of time, but it doesn't actually get us a lot. You know, we can change our banner, you know, we can change our banner, our PFP, you know, and like these things might get us a few results because people might see them and be like, oh, this is professional, I like this. But there's 20% of the actions that we probably don't want to do a lot that actually get us most of the results. Can you imagine what that is for a YouTuber? For a YouTuber, the 80-20 is going to be recording videos, scripting videos, and if you're poor like me, editing your own videos. But if you're not poor, you can just get people to edit your videos for you. These three things are the 20% of things that YouTubers can do that get us 80% of the results. Why? Well, like, think about it, right? The only reason you know who I am is because I make videos and I've gotten views and YouTube has shown my videos to more people. But if I didn't make any videos, you wouldn't know who I am because there's no videos on my YouTube channel, right? But because I've focused most of my time on just making videos, getting better at making videos, you actually see my channel and you are currently watching this video. And sure, maybe I could have liked some comments today instead of making this video, but that wouldn't have got me anything. What actually gets me something is recording the video. Now, let me give you another quick analogy. Let's say you are looking in the mirror at your physique, and your eyes are gonna instantly go to the part of your physique that you want to make bigger, or make more muscular, or make more vascular. That is like the 20% that you can do that is going to give you 80% of like the gains in your physique. But you don't really want to do this thing. For example, you don't really want to build your calves. I don't know if that's how you spell it. You don't want to build your calves, even though that would probably make your physique look way better for way less like action. But most people would probably just do the 80% and go, well, I need to do my calves, but, you know, I really feel like doing chest, or I feel like doing back. You know, because like these things are easy. Most people like doing back and chest. But that's not going to get you much value at this point, because your back and chest are already, like, good enough to where people, like, kind of give you respect for having that stuff. But what is actually going to give you a lot of value is doing maybe your smaller things, like maybe your forearms or your calves, things that you don't quite like doing that much, but would actually take less time to do, because there's just less of it usually, and it's going to get you most of the value. So we can apply this to Overwatch by saying, do you remember how earlier I said you don't just want to mindlessly queue, because that's just a big waste of time, and you don't want to go on lost streaks, right? That's part of it, right? How can we waste time? Instead of wasting time, we can avoid lost streaks by just stop playing the game and then doing something else. But mostly, to avoid wasting time, every single time you're on Overwatch, you want to make it a practice session. You want to go into the game focused on something. It can be anything. A fundamental, like uptime, cover usage, whatever, right? A mechanic, anything. As long as you're focused on something, right? You are actually working on the 20%, which is like your weakness in your gameplay, which is going to get you 80% of the results. Because think about it, right? If you just mindlessly queue, that's like the 80%. The 80% is just getting in the game and playing the game. But like, you've already done that for so long, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like, you've probably reached like a plateau. So you're not getting much value. But what you could do is the last 20%, which you probably don't really want to do because it's boring, as we've discussed before. It's boring, it's hard, it's difficult, I don't want to do it, I just want to play the game. But if you do this 20% thing, you will get most of your results, which is the rank you want, which is like the skill that you want to acquire. So instead of wasting time, use practice sessions to play the game. Excuse me. All right, next is stop changing your goals. Well, what do I mean by stop changing your goals? Well, in season 15, I can't really zoom into this. I've kind of done a piss poor job. How do I make it bigger? So, in season 15, you can see I've got 85 wins in DPS, 116 in 66. So you could say I was playing DPS and I was playing 66. Then in season 17, I played a bunch of games. Oh wait, no, that's not season 17. I played 127 games of DPS, 112 games of support, and less games on open queue. So like, I've kind of gone from DPS open queue to DPS support. And then this season, I've actually started to dial in, and I'm kind of only playing DPS and support. But in DPS and support, you can see I'm basically only playing Soldier Ana, and then I'll play like Ashe and Muyang if they get banned or taken. So the whole lesson of this is stop flip-flopping between, okay, I want to play DPS. No, actually, I want to play 66. Oh, no, actually, I want to play support. No, actually, I want to play tank. Stop flip-flopping. Instead, pick one hero or one role that you want to get really good at. Then stick to it for at least a season. This is what I've done this season, and I've been able to go from like M2, M3 support in season 18 up to GM5, and I'm almost in GM4. I'm like 90% right now, because I've just kind of stuck with support. Now, I'm not really following my own rules completely, because I am playing both roles, but I have a lot of free time to put into playing Overwatch, so I'm able to kind of do that. But if you've got less time, pick one role or one hero and just focus on them. That's it. Stop changing the role you play every single season. It's been one of my biggest mistakes that I can admit to making. Next is not learning or practicing. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, by practicing, I mean, not going into game and actually focusing on something, but also not learning. You're not watching content about your hero. You're not watching content. You're not watching pro play. You're just playing the game, hoping that something's gonna stick. What you need to do is instead look at what you want to do. So, for example, right, I'm an Ashe player, and my bobs are really bad, I've noticed. So I want to get good at using Bob, but I don't know how to. P.S. I do have a video on how to use Bob on my channel, so check that out. But anyway, right, I want to get good at using Bob. So what am I gonna do? Well, maybe I can watch some pro play, or I could watch high rank streamers, or whatever. Right, I can watch coaching of that hero that I'm playing, right? So I'm learning. This is like the learning here. And then after I've intaked some content, I can go into the game, use what I've learned, and practice it in game. Yeah, because now you're actually working on something that is going to help you improve. And like a couple of examples of this is, let's say we are an Ana player. Well, I can go to like Sparlow coaching, or just like another guy who's got Ana videos, and then I can watch this and go, okay, so how to practice, don't think, and then like I watched this, I learned something, and then you can implement that in the game. Same thing with unranked GMs. Unranked GMs are a really good format for this because it's literally just hours of content of the creator playing that one hero, and if they're educational, they're explaining what they're doing, they're explaining how they're using the character's kit. Awkward is really good for his unranked GMs because he's good at the game. He's able to easily showcase how to play the hero. But also the more important part is that you're learning of his thought process and why he does things because he explains it during the game. And then you can watch a couple of games of this. Even if you've never played Genji before, you can probably watch a couple of games of this, get into a game, like learn some things about, oh yeah, this is how I dash, this is how I position, right? And then you can go into a game and specifically practice the things that you've just learned from these videos, and now you're actually going to start to improve. And then that's going to lead you into the cycle of practice, VOD review. Have I done good? Yes. Move on. Have I not done good? Okay, why have I not done good? Practice more, right? It leads you into that cycle, which is actually going to help you rank up. And lastly, we have expecting results instantly. So all of these other things have been about very practical, like do this, don't do this. But like this is more for the people who have already started to get on their journey of actually improving, and they really want to rank up, and they're trying to do the right things. But you might be making a mistake of expecting to immediately get results after you start improving. Just like most things in life, probably everything in life, just because you've started to improve at something recently doesn't give you the right to expect instant results. Sometimes it can take weeks or months to start seeing that progress go up. So instead of expecting results instantly, keep playing, keep going, right? Keep doing good things, and fix your bad habits. Just like keep going. You might see your rank like fluctuate up and down a little bit, but like over time you're gonna see it's gonna go up. And if you would like help to kind of get these results way faster than doing it yourself, check out the links in the description. The top link is my school community. It's a monthly coaching service where I personally help you to improve the game. But if you're more interested in just plain private coaching, I've got that in my Discord server. It'll be the second highest channel. And the reason why I'm saying this is because yes, you shouldn't expect results instantly, because on your own, if you haven't already gotten results, it's going to be very hard to implement the habits and implement the things you need to do that are going to help you get results, and that you can get results, right? But getting coaching from someone who has already kind of started getting results and has actually shown proof of that is going to help you go way faster, because they're going to be able to give you feedback, which is going to save you time, and then you're going to be able to work on that. And because you know exactly what to work on, and I'll teach you exactly how to work on it, then you'll be able to make way faster progress, like kind of like this. Maybe you'll have a few dips, but you'll make way faster progress and way more progress. So if you're interested in getting coached, like I said, top links in the description. I really hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.